New for us here at 5 o'clock, Grammy Award-winning Chicago rapper Lil Durk is facing new charges in a murder-for-hire plot.
I decided I had to finish, but the media called me a menace.
As well. So Grammy Award-winning Chicago rapper Lil Durk has been charged in a superseding indictment alleging murder-for-hire plot to kill a rival near the Beverly Center shopping mall in Los Angeles in August of 2022. So, of course, we do know.
New for us here at 5 o'clock, Grammy Award-winning Chicago rapper Lil Durk is facing new charges in a murder-for-hire plot as well. So Grammy Award-winning Chicago rapper Lil Durk has been charged in a superseding indictment alleging murder-for-hire plot to kill rival near the Beverly Center shopping mall in Los Angeles in August of 2022. So of course we do know that just hit the fan for Lil Durk. We've all seen the headlines, but now the footage is out and it's looking bad in a wild twist. Durk's own words might have put him in a tough spot, and the internet's going crazy from talking too much to straight up snitching on himself. They definitely caught him lacking. Stick around as we dive into the details, break down the footage and see what's really going down. This one's going to be messy, so you know how Lil Durk's always been vocal about how much he hates snitches, right? Yeah, well, it's wild because now there's this whole situation where it looks like one of his own guys might have flipped on him. Court docs say that a dude named OTF Jam, who's been close to Durk for years, played a huge role in the case that's putting Durk in the hot seat. There's a guy named OTF Jam that was wired, very ironic name, and now put everyone in the jam. Did 12 years. 12 got out, interviewed, said he kept it real, brought him cars, gave him 50,000. Right, this may mention that ain't no smut on his name. He ain't never been a rat, caught a gun case, but eventually he flipped. Here's the crazy part: Jam had been locked up for 12 years for attempted murder but got out in 2022. Turns out while he was doing time he'd been working with the feds this whole time as an informant, and get this, he was wearing a wire while hanging around Durk and the OTF crew, feeding info to the authorities. No one saw that coming, not even Durk. Jam get out that jam and give him 50. He ain't got to ask again, bro, like, you know what I'm saying, he ain't got to ask. __. Bro, he said he gave you 50. No fact. Can you tell us how much he gave you, or you don't want? We ain't got to get into all that, but bro made sure, according to the court docs, Jam's recordings were key to linking Durk to that crazy plot against Rondo. You know, the murder-for-hire situation that almost went down. If you know anything about OTF Jam's relationship with Durk, this betrayal hits hard. Jam was basically like family to Durk, and when Jam was doing time, Durk had his back financially, supporting him, paying for his legal stuff, even buying him a house and a car and sending over more than $50,000. So Durk was looking out for OTF Jam even while he was locked up, right? He was really doing everything to have his back. But what could make someone flip on their day one homie like that without a second thought? Turns out things might be darker than we thought. Reports suggest that Durk may have been involved in the tragic death of his baby mama Octavia Redmond. Apparently, after Durk found out that Jam had been wearing a wire this whole time, he was furious and determined to get his revenge. But instead of going after Jam directly, Durk knew that taking out an FBI informant would bring the feds right to his doorstep, so he did something else. He went after his child's mother. On July 19, 2024, in the West Pullman neighborhood of Chicago, Octavia, a well-liked postal worker, was out delivering mail like any other day. That's when a stolen SUV pulled up and a 15-year-old suspect jumped out. Without warning, he shot Octavia multiple times at close range. She was rushed to the hospital but tragically passed away. Breaking news at this hour: a 15-year-old boy is charged with shooting and killing an on-duty U.S. Postal Service worker. He's accused of murdering 48-year-old Octavia Redmond on 121st at Harvard back in July. The police and the U.S. Postal Service launched a major investigation, and eventually the suspect was tracked down and arrested in Iowa months later. But here's the twist: Octavia's death didn't fix anything. It didn't erase the betrayal from Jam's wiretapping, and it didn't stop the feds from coming after Durk. So what exactly did Jam say to the cops that could lead to something as serious as the death penalty for Durk? It starts with the events of November 6, 2020. The KN King Vav, Durk's best friend, was gunned down outside an Atlanta nightclub. What began as a physical fight between Vav and Rondo escalated quickly into a shooting with Rondo's people allegedly firing the shots that took out V. Security footage showed Vav going after Kwandu throwing hands, and things got way out of hand from there, so the whole citation with King Von's death just spiraled out of control. After the fight at the club, Quando Rondo's homie Lil Tim popped out from behind a car with a gun and started shooting. V got hit in the torso and didn't make it after surgery. It was a huge loss for Durk, not just because V was his close friend but also because it kicked off a whole lot of bad blood between Durk and Quando Rondo. People started talking and rumors began swirling that Durk had put a bounty on Rondo's head, making the whole situation way more intense. Now, according to court docs that got Durk locked up, OTF Jam is the one who told the cops that after Von's death Durk used coded messages to tell his crew that he was willing to pay anyone who took out Rondo. Durk's cousin DeAndre Wilson also told OTF members that the ones who helped out would get big rewards like music opportunities. With OTF in August 2022, things started to move. Durk's crew found out that Rondo was staying at a hotel in Los Angeles and the plan to take him out was set in motion. So Durk's people, cuz DD Flacka, Brown Eyes and Boogie, supposedly got the green light to go to La using funds from Durk himself. They were careful though, they didn't want to leave a trail, so they didn't book flights under their names despite Durk allegedly telling them to avoid any links to him. But even with that warning, the feds say they found out Durk's credit card was used to book their flights. Once in law, the crew met up with Voni, another OTF member who had already arrived on a private jet. Voni was helping the team set everything up, securing hotels, buying ski masks and even getting guns, including one that had been converted into a machine gun. They were really gearing up for something serious. The plan was to follow Quando and his crew around La until they could find the right moment to strike. They ended up at a gas station across from the Beverly Center when Rondo and his guys pulled up. That's when the suspects opened fire. Rondo survived, but his cousin LOL Pob tragically got caught in the crossfire and died. The whole scene was chaos with people running for cover and the shooters fleeing. Shots fired, a fight taken to the streets, and this chaotic scene the ending of a shooting that started in Los Angeles. California sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV. Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight. It all started at this mobile gas station at 5:30 Friday evening. LAPD says witnesses heard multiple gunshots, then watched a couple cars zoom off. 3 people in one car shot at this black Cadillac Escalade. It's unclear if those inside shot back. Can I get some space? It ended at Santa Monica Boulevard. Deputies found it peppered with bullet holes and a shattered window. One man inside, a member of Ronto entourage, had been shot. Afterward, the crew allegedly met up at an In-N-Out to talk about payment and then headed back to Chicago. But this isn't the first time Durk's name has come up in connection to a murder-for-hire situation, from the death of his brother Dang to someone who disrespected Von's mural. It looks like Durk's been tangled up in some dangerous situations for a while now, and the more they dig into these cases, the more people are talking about the role Durk might have played in other murders. So here's the story. One Sunday morning outside a strip club in South suburban Harvey, things went south fast. Dang, Durk's brother was shot in the head and tragically died right there on the spot. You know, when you look at just Durk in general, man, look at how many people died around him already. You know what I mean. From his cousin, he's strong. Yeah, he humble, don't let you see him sweat like that, like he don't see really tweeting his anger or tweeting his problem. Yeah, but he don't let it show. Word around the streets was that a guy named Stefan Mack was the one responsible for Dang's death. Durk wasn't about to let that slide, so he reportedly put a bounty on Stefan's head. Fast forward to January 7, 2022, and Stefan ended up getting taken out at the Youth Peace Center of Roseland in Chicago. The hit was a well-planned operation, and 2 men, Anthony Montgomery Wilson and Preston Powell, were eventually indicted on charges of murder for hire. Now, according to prosecutors, the whole thing was set up using a cell phone and a Chrysler 300, which they said were part of interstate commerce. Basically, the feds were all over this one. When Max stepped out of the Youth Peace Center, the gunman pulled up and opened fire, taking his life right there. There was also a security guard who got injured but thankfully survived. As the case went on, Montgomery, Wilson and Powell were hit with some serious charges: conspiracy to use an interstate facility to carry out the murder, plus the murder for hire charges. Montgomery even faced a gun charge on top of that. When he was brought to court, he pled not guilty, setting the stage for what could be a long and nasty trial. His defense is reportedly planning to challenge the evidence, including pictures that allegedly show him chasing the victim. With a gun, Powell on the other hand is still on the run and the authorities are actively looking for him, but that ain't even the end of the convo when it comes to Durk's dirty laundry. Yep, there's more to it now. The most high-profile case that Durk's allegedly linked to is the